The awesome adventures of Captain Spirit introduces us to what Life is Strange 2 could be about, and even though this was a short demo, I was able to pick up a few things that could clue into the new story. This leaves us with many questions like, does Chris have powers? Who are those kids waving at him? Who killed Emily? And how sad is Life is Strange 2 going to make me? In this video, I'm going to make a couple of speculations on what Life is Strange 2 could be about and how Captain Spirit has an important role in all of this. At the end of Captain Spirit, Chris's father, Charles, begins to say terrible things to him, saying he should grow up, and even going far as to say that his mother's death was his fault. As Chris runs out of the home in tears, he heads to his treehouse, and as he's climbing it, a part of the ladder breaks off and he falls. Just as he's about to hit the ground, he stops and stays there floating until he is gently placed on the ground. When he gets up, he sees two boys across the fence. They just wave at him and the game ends. Of course, this could be Chris actually having powers, but I don't believe it was him. I believe it was his neighbor actually, saving him from the fall. It's clear that those two boys were there the entire time Chris was trying to get to his treehouse and must have heard him scream. But as soon as Chris lands safely, they don't look shocked at all. If you saw someone floating magically in the air, I imagine you'd be pretty surprised, but these boys didn't look fazed at all. And yes, you can make the argument of it was just in Chris's head, with his imagination, but throughout this entire game, you're playing in Chris's imagination and nothing like this has ever happened. Whenever he uses Captain Spirit's powers, Chris is the one making the sound effects, while imagining something is happening, but in reality, nothing was happening. And when Chris was running to his treehouse, he was upset and in distress about what his father said to him. He wasn't playing around at that point. I do believe on some level it was fate that Chris and these boys were to meet. Just like in Life is Strange, I believe the reason why Max got her powers was for Chloe, but she was only able to receive them when she was back in Arcadia Bay. It's no secret that this series will always hold some sort of magical element either in the characters, the town itself, or in an unknown way. So Chris may not necessarily be the one with powers, but possibly one of the boys, Beaver Creek itself, or even Emily coming to save him. Obviously there isn't much to go off, but the timing with these boys being there, the fact that they weren't shocked, and that dead parents watching over their kids seems to be a thing within the Life is Strange universe, would it be crazy to think this is possible? Before I continue with my magical theory, we first must take a look at who Captain Spirit really represents. Chris's alter ego, Captain Spirit, is actually based off his mother. Emily Erickson was an artist. She enjoyed drawing and writing comics about her life. She enjoyed being a mother to Chris and even loved sharing her art with the world, which included showcasing her artwork at Blackwell Academy and ultimately teaching children in kindergarten. Emily was a kind-hearted soul. Even though we never got to see her in this game, you can feel how much of a positive impact she had on Chris. She encouraged him to draw, to be creative, to be whatever he wanted to be. To her, he was her hero, the person she could never be, and funny enough, it was the same way for Chris. She was his hero. As Chris plays as Captain Spirit through the day, he gives himself a little list of things he must do in order to keep everyone safe. A lot of them have actual hints of Emily within them. When Chris makes his costume as Captain Spirit, he says he feels powerful, and evidently, Emily gave him comics of superheroes and told him to never throw them away, giving him the inspiration to create a superhero character. When Chris is playing with his toys, in one scenario, is a battle between Power Bear and Noctorious. As Power Bear calls for Captain Spirit, you have the choice what you want to do with Noctorious. And if you choose to set him free, Power Bear thanks Captain Spirit for not letting him fall to the dark side, mirroring Emily's goodness. The other scenario is with Shark Stinger. There's the pedestrian standing on the other side as Shark Stinger comes charging at him. If Captain Spirit saves him, Chris tells him that he won't run over anyone again. But if you don't save the pedestrian, Chris says,
"How can you run over innocent people? Nobody should die like that. Mantroid and his minions will pay for this."
Both of these situations with the toys are related to Emily's death. When Chris faces Snowmancer, he comments on how he terrorizes the town, especially with his winter storm. Emily was killed on December 16th during the winter, and from the letter we found in the locker, it said that Emily got out of her car after it broke down. A snowstorm could explain her reasoning for exiting the car. The buried treasure is actually just pictures, letters, and drawings of Emily, all these things that are precious to Chris. Finally, we have the confrontation with Mantroid. As Chris ventures off into space, he lands on an abandoned planet where he sees a road with two signs on it. Just before he faints, the sign reads Mantle Street and Asteroid Drive, which is the road where his mother died, and when you place those two names together, you get Mantroid, Captain Spirit's greatest enemy that he cannot defeat. Chris is surrounded by death, whether he knows it or not. In his bedroom, there's a scythe in his toy bin, which is often a representation of death or the Grim Reaper. He lives in the memory of his mother, Captain Spirit. The fact that his father blames him for Emily's death, and the songs used throughout the game reflects what happened to Emily and how her loss is felt through the family members. Life is Strange is a reoccurring theme of loss, either in death or separation. We have witnessed this with Max and Chloe in the previous game, Max losing her connection and friendship with Chloe after leaving Arcadia Bay, Chloe losing her father in the accident, Kate losing her faith, Victoria losing her self-worth, Nathan losing hope, and even Rachel losing herself. Chris is no stranger to this pain. Losing his mother had a huge impact on him both in a positive way and a negative way. Obviously, losing a parent at a young age is devastating, and even more so when you are close to that person. Chris pretty much got all his qualities from her. This now leaves us with Chris's purpose and the connection with the boys. Aside from possibly being saved by them, this game seems to be hinting that Chris will be taken out of the home and possibly living with them. It's very clear that Mrs. Reynolds is very concerned for Chris's safety and has tried multiple times to reach out to Chris, but with him being so young and only having one parent around, he didn't feel the desire to leave his father behind. If you call her when Charles is awake, she and Chris share a nice conversation, which ends with her being in panic after Chris says about what his treehouse is supposed to do.
Anyway, I'll be happy to let Stephen know his services are required. He loves that treehouse.
Me too. Gotta keep the bad guys away.
What bad guys?
Thanks, Mrs. Reynolds.
What do you mean?
Then later, after Charles takes a dive, Mrs. Reynolds comes to the door after hearing the commotion during her walk. Depending on how you respond, if she catches Chris in a lie, she tells him that she's gonna call Stephen over to come pick him up from there.
Wait. You said you tripped over the Christmas tree lights, but you're going to get another one?
No, I tripped over the Christmas lights, not the tree.
Chris, I want you to tell me the truth. Okay, Chris, I think I've heard enough. I'm going to talk to Stephen about this, and we'll be back to chat with your father.
Wait, you don't... Please.
Listen, I'm not trying to hurt you, okay? We want to help. You're not in trouble. You haven't done anything.
With the little details Donut left within the demo, it makes me believe that Chris and the boys will reunite again in Life is Strange 2, to be the heroes the town needs. As I said in the previous Life is Strange theory, I and many others have speculated that Arcadia Bay was alive, that it held some higher power and shaping everything that led up to the events between Max and Chloe. And I believe the same thing is happening within Beaver Creek. Since Donut has based a lot of Life is Strange magic on Native American or indigenous cultures, it's safe to assume that some of those same elements will be brought back for this second game. And I really do hope that the Reynolds boys are Native American themselves. It would be really cool to have a character who can actually connect with the culture. Arcadia Bay's symbol was based off the raven, which in Native American cultures represented change and transformation. Since this game takes place in a town called Beaver Creek, I'm going to make an assumption that the beaver is the chosen animal as a representation of the land. Within the Native American culture, the beaver represents teamwork, balance, determination, clarity, dreams, family, and goals. Since the beaver is a water creature, it can also be related to water symbols and analogies like building your dreams, just like a beaver dam. Another animal that could play into this is a horse. There's a poster in Chris's room with a QR code which reads, "A ragged colt may make a good horse." A colt is a term used for a young male horse. The colt could be referring to Chris. He is the young boy here who has the potential to go either good or bad, just like Chloe in a way. All these terrible things happening to him at such a young age that Chris could possibly change when we reach Life is Strange 2. But there is still a chance that he may stay the same creative boy we see now. Within the Native American culture, the horse can represent a driving force, balance, freedom, a new journey, friendship, and warning. Aside Chris, the horse analogy could be referring to Emily as well. As I said earlier, Chris takes after his mother, and from the way that Charles spoke about her, and how the newspapers wrote about her, she seems to be a free spirit. Chris's driving force at this time is his imagination with Captain Spirit, which is a fictitious representation of Emily. Even the song that plays, Death with Dignity, which is sung by Sufjan Stevens, talks about Sufjan's estranged mother, who passed away, and about his childhood with her. The song mentions how he is always looking for her, but she is never there. Just like Chris, he sees his mother in everything he does, but can never be with her again. Emily is his driving force, possibly will guide him through the new journey, and even a warning of what's to come. Going through all the letters, it seems that the police mishandled or didn't even bother to investigate Emily's death further, and reading the newspaper on the table shows that there was an unexplained death of a local man and police officer, which now has caused protests, again being accused of mishandling the incident. I get the feeling the big mystery of Emily's death will tie into this protest that is happening right now. The police aren't doing their job, but there must be a reason as to why, and I believe that Chris and the Reynolds boys will be the ones to uncover the truth of Beaver Creek. They will assemble a team together and figure out what is happening. And in a way, it's been foreshadowing throughout Captain Spirit, as he has his own team of superhero friends who help and protect the town.
Every superhero team needs a supervillain team.
There is still a lot to uncover, and hell, I could be wrong about everything I just said, but there's no doubt that magic is at play again. It could be pure luck, the spirit of Emily, or even Beaver Creek itself. Life is Strange 2 will for sure hold something special and something dark underneath it all. We just have to wait and see. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, let me know in the comments what you thought, and if you have any theories of your own, I would love to hear them. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see more videos like this, consider supporting the channel on Patreon. That's patreon.com/justthenoob. Thanks for watching!